Broadcasting from the Tasman Lake Lodge Studios, this is Sporting Journal Radio. Presented by OnX. Know where you stand with OnX. Now here's your host, Bret Amundson.
Welcome to the show. I'm Bret Amundson. Thank you for tuning in right here, wherever you're watching / listening to this show right here. We've got a lot to get to this week. We're on the road, actually. They took the big production out of our brand new studio that we just kind of redesigned. Me and Dan Amundson over there. Dan, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
We took everything, we packed it up into the Toyota Camry and drove it 12 hours eastward through Wisconsin, through the Upper Peninsula, and then down across a bridge that we're going to show you in just a second, which is a pretty wild bridge. You probably heard of it. If not, you're going to want to see this because it was a wild experience. And then down into the LP, the lower part of Michigan.
LP, that's all I know, LP.
LP. So we're in Gaylord, Michigan for the Association of Great Lakes Outdoor Writers annual conference right now. We've got a number of guests who are in attendance here with us in Michigan right now that are going to be joining us on the show, including Trent Marsh from Spypoint. He's got some really cool stuff that he's going to tell us about for trail cameras and cellular trail cameras coming up later in the show. I know we had Tanner Cherney to tell us about some of that stuff too. Trent's got a few other things he's going to talk about as well, and some of the experiences that he's had here at the AGLOW conference. We got Joe Henry on the way, and Joe won some awards here, so he's going to tell us about the awards that he won and some of his favorite experiences. And then Mark Smith is the executive director. He's going to tell us why this is such an important event and how it could be of interest to somebody maybe like you that's watching, and how this might be something that should be on your calendar or something in your future coming up next year. You never know. Joe. Dan, you're Dan. What's your name?
My name's Dan.
Dan, who's this show brought to you by?
This week's show is brought to you by Lake of the Woods Tourism. Plan a trip to Lake of the Woods at lakeofthewoodsmn.com. Ottertail Lakes Country. Find your inner otter at ottertaillakescountry.com. Haybale Heights Campground and Resort on Devil's Lake. Plan a trip to Devil's Lake at haybaleheights.com. OnX Hunt. Know where you stand with OnX. Prairie Sportsman. Watch episodes anytime at prairiesportsman.org. Mid-Migration Outfitters. Hunt geese at the famous Loch Parle Refuge in heated pits and comfortable blinds. Learn more at midmigrationoutfitters.com. And Tasman Lake Lodge. Plan a trip of a lifetime. Catch giant lake trout and pike at tasmanlake.com.
That's right. And Dan has been filming our entire adventure over here, so we're going to have a nice little short video showcasing all of our exploits as we journeyed over here to Michigan, including going across the Mackinac Bridge. Check this thing out.
Strong winds are blowing across the surface of the bridge. Cars and other non-escorted vehicles must exercise appropriate caution. The Mackinac Bridge Authority is monitoring wind speeds at various points along the structure. Additional steps will be implemented if conditions change.
Here we go, crossing the Mackinac Bridge. How long was that bridge, Dan?
5 miles.
5 miles. We didn't know what to expect, but as we were pulling up to it, we heard on the radio, it's very dangerous. So it was a lot higher than I was expecting. You were too busy filming to probably take in the whole experience of it. But there's a couple of moments where I was like, this could get, this is wild. This is crazy. This is a big bridge.
It was a lot bigger than I expected when I looked at it on a map.
Yeah, it was 5 miles long. Did you know how high it was? Did you look that up?
I can't. I don't want to say a number that's wrong.
We'll put it on the screen here when we edit this thing. We'll get it out there.
It was high.
It's a big bridge, and it's pretty cool to check out. And then we had the awards banquet here on Tuesday night, and it was just a great show. It was a great night for this show right here. We submitted 6 shows, so that's how it works. You submit your work. Everybody that's part of AGLOW submits work, and then it's judged by a national panel of experts. Nobody within AGLOW, so there's no bias. It's people we don't know. And we put 6 shows in, and all 6 won first and second places. It's a very humbling experience because there's some very talented creators and podcasters and radio hosts that are part of AGLOW. So it was a fun night. So thank you, AGLOW. I really appreciate that. We have a couple of our guests that are going to be on the show. Also, won some awards. Trent Marsh and Joe Henry both won some awards, and they'll tell us about those coming up later in the show. We're gonna take a quick break, but when we come back, we got Mark Smith, the executive director. Do not go anywhere.
852 million acres of public land, 147 million private properties, all in the palm of your hand. The #1 hunting GPS app just got better. With hundreds of custom map layers, 3D and topographic maps, you can easily scout on the road or at home before you go. And now you can get important weather details, CWD detection, and even know what crops have been planted where. Get the most trusted hunting GPS app ever made. OnX. Know where you stand with OnX.
All right, welcome back. I'm Bret Amundson. Thank you for tuning in on this station right here by downloading the podcast wherever you get your favorite podcasts or by listening on demand at sportingjournalradio.com, or maybe you're watching this on our YouTube or Facebook channel. Thank you for watching. In any case, we're in Gaylord, Michigan right now at Treetops Resort for the annual AGLOW conference with Executive Director Mark Smith. Mark, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great. We're right smack in the middle of the conference here, and no better place to be and no better group of people to be here with.
Well, this is a beautiful area here. I have very little Michigan experience. I think when I was about 14, I went across the border from Wisconsin into Michigan for a ski trip, and then I've flown through the Detroit airport a few times, but that doesn't really count. So this is a really neat area around here, and this conference was supposed to be here last year originally,
Correct.
wasn't it?
Our system at AGLOW for conference locations is they bid 2 years in advance. So AGLOW had won the bid back in 2018, or Gaylord had won the bid back in 2018 to host us. And of course, the situation last year just was not conducive to having a resort full of people. So we pushed everybody back 1 year. So we decided we're going to go ahead and do Gaylord in 21, which means we'll be in Branson in 22. And we have bidders here this week who are bidding to host us in 23.
What can you talk about who the bidders are?
Sure, absolutely. So Lake of the Woods up in Lake of the Woods, Minnesota is
we hate that place.
Yeah, as a prime bidder. And you and I had some great times there. I think
Yes,
you and
we
I
did.
made a big pile of geese one day.
Absolutely.
Also a wonderful area to be in. Bemidji, Minnesota, just down the road a piece. They're also bidding this year. And then Kentucky Lake.
All great places, of course. I got to learn, obviously I know about Bemidji and Lake of the Woods, but I got to learn a little bit about Kentucky Lake here at the event. It was after the awards banquet, which thank you very much. We had a great time there.
I would hope you did.
Yeah, it was a good night. Thank you very much.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
Yeah. Tell our viewers / listeners who may not know who AGLOW is, tell us about it.
So the Association of Great Lakes Outdoor Writers started as a regional media communications group back in 1956. So this is our 65th annual conference. So there's a lot of history there. So back when we started, it was literally outdoor writers. Those guys with pens and pencils and notepads, So obviously the world has changed
Just a little bit.
But and our reach is now quite a distance outside of the Great Lakes region. We have members from New York to Alaska, and we have members from Minnesota to the South, Florida.
So there isn't a real big geographical boundary, despite it being the Great Lakes.
And I don't think that's by design. I tell people who are in the business, there is some organic thing that has happened in this organization over the past, 6.5 decades. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to rebuild it. I wouldn't have known how to start it, but here we are. And it literally has attracted corporate members that are from the outdoor industry. Everybody from, you've been here, Yamaha Marine, and we have Nissan trucks, and we have Toyota trucks, and Ram has been a big sponsor over the years. We have outdoor equipment manufacturers, everything from firearms and air guns and boats and motors and accessories, camping equipment and that kind of thing. So we that's very well represented. We have a area of our membership that represents the tourism industry through convention and visitor bureaus and tourism bureaus and that kind of thing, as well as conservation groups. And of course, media, people who produce media. And so as the popularity of the organization grew, it just literally organically just spread out from the Great Lakes area. Since I've been executive director, we have had conferences literally in the four corners of our membership. My very first conference was held in New York. The second one was in Bismarck, North Dakota. I don't know if those points could get any further apart.
Yeah, right.
And then we've been at Lake of the Woods, Lake of the Woods followed up right after that. La Crosse, Wisconsin. We're here now. We're going to Branson. We've been at Kentucky Lake. We've been as far south as Louisiana in the past. So our scope, and I think a little bit of that may be that the scope of work, the body of work that's created by our media folks. You know, it used to be a guy like you just wasn't known outside of your region. Well, because you could only reach as far as the big antenna reached, right? As far as your radio station or your television station. And young folks don't even know what that means anymore, because now everything's on your smartphone that's from all over the world, right? So everybody's scope of of reach has went from a guy from, western Minnesota who some folks in maybe a little bit of a regional area there knew who he was, to, you could run into people literally on the other side of the world that say, I've listened to your podcast, or I've watched your show, or I read something that you wrote, because the world is, the interweb has just shrunk the world.
It's amazing.
So as that world has shrunk, our scope has expanded. So it's been good. It's been good for us.
Why is an organization like AGLOW important?
Well, the one thing that I think that AGLOW does differently, so I don't want to say that it's better or worse or anything else. One thing that we do differently is, if you look at what outdoor communicators have to ply their craft, you have to have a place to go, right? For an outdoor activity, whether it's hunting, fishing, biking, camping, whatever it is, you have to have a place to go. You have to have equipment to do it with, right? And then, of course, you have to have platforms to put your message out. So what AGLOW does for our members, we provide all of those aspects in one place. So where I see for our members the most benefit is, this is a networking platform that is very, very powerful. I can name members of this organization who came in as literally rookie fledgling writers who said, I just like to hunt and fish, and I want to figure out how to get my stories out there. I want to tell my story. Who have gone on to be, Dan Stefanich comes to mind. He went on to be the National Marketing Director at CLAM. He was a guy from Central Illinois who was working in a family business. They developed websites and that kind of thing, but loved to hunt and fish, and joined AGLOW and met some people and moved around in this atmosphere for a couple, 3 years, and ends up in a totally, completely different place because of, and I can repeat that story just right off the top of my head. There are people that are here this week, at least 10 or 15 times I can repeat that exact same story. So it's a very powerful networking tool. And it literally, and you'll hear this a lot, it's like family. Once you come to one of these things and meet these folks, you just really want to come. So it's not all business. There is a lot of business,
It wasn't all business.
But I think you've noticed that there's also a lot of, social interaction that goes on here.
Well, and half the time that's where the real work gets done.
Absolutely. I mean, how many times did you used to hear that, half the deals in the world are made on the golf course, right? Well, half the deals in our world are made on fishing boats and the grouse hunting woods, or laying out in a goose blind. So.
Well, the other interesting thing, kind of alluding to what you talked about there, is you get to try some new experiences. And unfortunately, I missed out on shooting some of these air guns.
Oh my goodness.
And the power that these air guns have nowadays, it's insane.
So FX Airguns is here with us today. Great group of people, great sponsor. Velocity Outdoors also does Benjamin and Crossman, and they're members of our organization as well. And that is a segment of the shooting industry that is literally just on fire. So a couple of things about that is that, the power and the accuracy. It's not the pellet gun you and I played with in the yard when we were kids anymore.
Right.
I mean, they have video of people hunting Cape buffalo and elk, and I mean Cape buffalo. Come on, I mean, so I'm totally serious. I mean, you're talking about something that can shoot 75 caliber with a couple thousand foot-pounds of energy. Now you're not going to do that at 1,000 yards, but the fact that it's something with a cylinder of air that can throw a projectile downrange with accuracy. I mean, yesterday they were touting, hitting a golf ball every time at 100 yards with a 35 to 50 caliber to 70, even 70 caliber pellet. 70 caliber pellet. I mean, that's bigger. A 12 gauge is what, 68, 69 caliber if you measured it that way? So, I mean, you're talking about a big chunk of projectiles going downrange.
Well, and that boat with that big Yami on it on the back. I mean, I've got my camera here because I've got my mileage vehicle with. But if I would have known that was there, I would have brought my pickup, and you could just hook her right up.
Well, listen, you don't have to have your pickup because Yamaha Marine's got a wonderful bunch of their technical staff here. The new Helmmaster that they're put out for single-engine boats, which is, and I'm not a huge boating guy. I mean, I do it. I own a boat. I do it. But I got to tell you, I am really, really intrigued, and they're offering all of our media and corporate people to go out and do test drives and try out that Helmmaster, and of course try out that big, what is that, about 350 horse?
300.
Yeah, that's looks like a beauty. So I'd like to feel all that power too. So Yamaha Marine has been a long-time supporter of AGLOW. They've been to many, many conferences, and it's just awesome to have them in the house and be able to show us some of that new technology.
Well, tell everybody where we can follow you guys, because I know there's going to be some pictures and some videos and some follow-up content from this event. If people want to see that boat and that motor or learn more about those Airguns, they'll be able to see some of that on
Absolutely.
Website,
So, of course, our website's probably the best clearinghouse for that, glowoutdoors.com. Of course, we have a couple of Facebook pages, which are easy enough, AGLOW or Association Great Lakes Outdoor Writers. I know a lot of the folks out here are cross-posting all kinds of photos and videos and storylines and that kind of thing. We'll post up all the winners from the awards and craft last night. You got to get pretty deep in the list before you get outside of this Bret guy from Minnesota who kind of piled them up last night, which you have that. You know what? When you have good people in the room, it's very spirited. It's very friendly competition, and it's just an awesome way to be recognized for your good work.
Well, thank you very much. And there are some very talented creators and content generators that are here. So
I'd like to say some of the best in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
All right. Well, Mark, I appreciate the time here on the show. Thanks for everything here, and good luck with AGLOW. And we'll see you next year in Branson.
I'll be there. Thank you very much.
Devil's Lake is legendary, and this summer has been legendary for walleyes. Don't miss out. Call Haybale Heights Campground and Resort today to book one of their modern cabins on East Bay. The cabins are furnished with a full bathroom, kitchen, and all the amenities like high-speed internet, and are clean following CDC guidelines. Staying at Haybale Heights gives you full access to a private boat launch, fish cleaning station, and beach area. Learn more at haybaleheights.com. That's haybaleheights.com. Plan your trip to legendary Devil's Lake today.
All right, welcome back. I'm Bret Amundson. Thank you for tuning in right here, wherever you're getting this, on the radio show, podcast, or one of our video channels as well. Thank you for doing that. We're in Gaylord, Michigan at the Association of Great Lakes Outdoor Writers annual conference right now, and our guest is Trent Marsh from Spypoint. Trent, this has been a great time so far.
It always is. AGLOW is, as long as we're not counting first week of deer season, AGLOW is always one of the favorite weeks of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful area here, of course. First time I've been to Gaylord, and it's really a lot more topography than I was expecting.
Yeah, it's almost criminal, and I've hated to admit it a couple times because I'm from Northeast Indiana, so I can be across the Michigan border in an hour, and this is the furthest north I've ever been. This is the first I've ever been north of Lansing, and honestly, I've been to Montana more than I've been to Michigan. So how that happened to work, I don't know, but it's been absolutely gorgeous up here. The weather's weather's been great. The people have been great. It's been great. Paul did a great job with this.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, how long have you been a part of AGLOW?
So my first AGLOW conference was the Branson conference in 2012. We were down there right on Table Rock Lake, beautiful place down there, and I've missed a few conferences with some different things over the years, but yeah, almost a decade now.
There is so much packed in. It's a longer conference than I was expecting it to be, but there's so much going on, and it's not just a chance to try out some new products, to learn, maybe demo some different products, or learn about some new things, or have some, go shoot some guns. Is always the best part of any conference.
Right.
But it's a chance to learn, and there's a lot of seminars and breakout sessions and things like that, including some that you're doing.
Yeah, it's the conferences are great. I can send you links to how-to videos, and I can send you press releases, and that's great. But you always hear it in sales, people buy from people, but the same's true in marketing and content. It's a lot better when you can build the relationships one-on-one and get to know somebody, so you know exactly, if I have a new camera come out and we talk about what your plans are for this coming fall or what you got coming in the next couple of years, it lets me make sure that as we're working on product development, we're delivering the products that you guys want and need, and then also once we have it delivered, we can get it to you, and it's not just, here's this cool new widget, go find out a way to make it work for us. I can come back to you and say, hey, you needed something that did X, Y, or Z. This absolutely does that. Why don't you put this through its paces and see how it goes?
Well, this business is about relationships, as you said. And not just that, but learning about the changing aspects of this industry. An outdoor writers group it used to be, as Mark said, guys with a pencil and paper or whatever writing. Now there's so many aspects to it, from the digital side and changing algorithms. When you can get a room full of people that are doing this every day and bounce ideas off each other and learn from each other, it's just going to make everybody better as a whole. So it's all about the content, isn't it?
It is. It's definitely about the content. My title with Spypoint is editorial manager, and that's wide and all encompassing, but specifically for content, we've got 3 video series. We have a cooking series, we have a habitat series, we have a hunting series. I've got a bi-monthly podcast. We did a print magazine last year for our insiders, and we're doing traditional written blogs 2 to 4 times a month. So, even just from a brand, getting content out there, we're doing 10 content pieces a month, literally across every mechanism that there is. So, when you get 50, 80, 100, 120 people that are doing the same thing, where you might have found a roadblock or a barrier, or you're struggling with something, somebody else has already fixed it. And that's the great thing about AGLOW is, we had the award ceremony last night, and somebody kind of cleaned up, but the great part about that is, if I got a question about podcasts, guess who's getting a phone call, whether you like it or not? This organization is, there's no egos here. Everybody is glad to help everyone else, because at the end of the day, if everyone else is doing better and doing their job, it benefits hunting, fishing, and the outdoors. And I think by and large, that's why we're all here anyways. We want to see that industry continue and succeed.
Hey, you won an award for your podcast.
I did, well, as a guest podcast, it's kind of a sidekick deal. I'm not the face of it, like you are. So it was, but yeah, I was happy to play in those waters. Yeah, it was good.
I got to page through that Insider magazine at the table last night too, which was pretty cool. And I learned, Tanner Turney told us more about the Insider Club with Spypoint here recently on the show. I didn't realize yet that there was a magazine that came with it too. There was a lot of content in that alone. There was stuff going on, and I was clearly not paying attention because I was reading articles in the magazine, so I probably should have been paying attention. But what else do insiders get?
So Insiders Club is fantastic. So you've got your purchase benefits. Obviously Spypoint cellular trail cameras, and you get, as an insider, you're going to get 20% off all your photo transmission plans. You're going to get 20% off all your photo HD packages. You're going to get free shipping at spypoint.com and 20% off accessories. So if you've got 4 cameras and you do the unlimited plan, that paid for Insiders Club, and we're still on category 1 of 3. You also have the additional scouting benefits. So all of the latest and greatest in the app is going to get rolled out to insiders first. So you've got exclusive access to that stuff as it becomes available. Everyone that uses the Spypoint app gets access to our Buck AI filter. So you can, we've all got, it was a windy night last night, 400 pictures of a white pine sapling blowing in the wind, right? You don't want to scroll through all those. hit that buck filter and you're just going to see those antlered deer pictures, which is great. So you're going to have access to the other filters like human activity and antlered deer or antlerless deer, turkey, things like that. And then we also have a lot of member exclusives. Every month we do a giveaway for insiders. As long as you're an Insider Club member, you're automatically entered. We've done giveaways with HHA, Grizzly Coolers, Deemer Box, Badlands. I mean, we're just all over the place giving away gear every month. And we actually just launched last year. You might have seen us. We did our 10-wheel giveaway. It was about over the course of 6 or 7 months. Everybody that was an insider on December 31st was entered to win or might have been November 30th, a brand new Chevy pickup, a side-by-side, and a trailer. Wow. So for this year, it's not our 10-wheel giveaway, it's our hunting rig road trip. So Kurt McAllister, who's here at AGLOW from Toyota, got with Kurt, and he was able to help facilitate. Anybody that's been looking for a vehicle lately knows how difficult that is. Yeah. But helped us find a Toyota Tundra 2021 Crew Max. We got that to John Sisney in Noble, Oklahoma, accessorized it up, level kit, tonneau cover, some other really fun accessories on there. And now it's going to make 11 stops in 10 states, over 3,200 miles between now and Christmas, basically. And everywhere along the way, we're adding to that prize package. Oh, cool. So people got to stay tuned for the next, 4 months now to see what all's going to be in there. So far, we've added a hunt for 2 at the CCC Ranch in Georgia West, Texas, for 2 whitetails up to 150 inches. That's about a $9,000 hunt, in addition to the truck. And then the guys at Working Class Bow Hunter added a Rogue Ridge e-bike, $3,500 value, nice. And we're 2 stops in. So you can follow the hashtag Hunting Rig Road Trip and see where that's at, or you can go to spypoint.com/road trip, and all the updates, all the prizes, everybody that's involved is right there on the page.
All right. So if some of our listeners are living and they want to living in some of these areas, they can find out where that's going to stop.
Yep. They're, like Working Class Bow Hunter guys, they got their podcast studio right there in town. They had the truck parked in there, and everybody that has it is going to be doing fun stuff.
11 stops. So I think we should make 12 at my house. So I can drive it for
I think
a while.
We kind of already went by your place. It's
next year.
I don't know that we're getting back to the neighborhood, but there's always the next one.
Cool. All right. Once again, hit the websites and social media channels for everybody.
Yeah. So on Instagram and Twitter, it's Spypoint Camera, at Spypoint Camera, and then Facebook, just search Spypoint. You can find us. The general website is spypoint.com, and if you want to learn more about Insiders Club, spypoint.com/insider, or specifically the Hunting Rig Road Trip is spypoint.com/road trip.
Trent, thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Northern Minnesota's Walleye Factory is a year-round world-class fishing destination. The perfect getaway this summer is just a short drive to Lake of the Woods. Fish Big Traverse Bay, the Rainy River, or visit the unique Northwest Angle. To catch big fish, you have to go where the big fish are. Plan your trip to Lake of the Woods at lakeofthewoodsmn.com. That's lakeofthewoodsmn.com.
All right, welcome back. I'm Bret Amundson. Thank you for tuning in right here on Facebook or YouTube, or by listening to this radio station right here, or by subscribing to the podcast wherever you get your favorite podcasts. We're in Michigan right now at the Association of Great Lakes Outdoor Writers annual conference, and our next guest is the guy that got me into AGLOW, really, the one that introduced me to it, Joe Henry from Lake of the Woods Tourism. Joe, how you doing?
Welcome to Gaylord, Michigan.
Yes.
Isn't it nice? I get to see you virtually and, on the camera all the time. And we, if we're going to meet in person, where do we go? Let's go to Michigan.
That sounds good to me. It's funny. We were talking about it the other night around the campfire, I think, and we were saying, gosh, we haven't seen each other in so long. I'm like, Joe, I feel like we see each other at least once a week.
Yeah.
It's just through a computer screen.
Exactly, yeah. It is. It's good. I was excited to hear you were coming. I know at first you weren't sure if you could make it, and when I heard that you and Dan were coming, I was like, wow, that's cool. So, and it was. I mean, you're happy you're here, aren't you?
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely.
And I should say too, I don't know, for people listening, we had the Awards and Craft AIC Awards last night, which really give great recognition to people in the outdoor industry who are doing different forms of media. And so, I won a couple of awards, and it was very, very nice. And so Bret Amundson comes in, and I think he won like 12. He freaking stole the show. So congratulations to you.
Joe, it wasn't 12.
Well, how many was it?
It was 11.
11, okay. So you missed him by one. Well, that's a pretty good guess. But Kudos to you, and all BS put aside. I'll tell you something. It's a great honor, and it just speaks to the quality of work that you guys are doing. So to get recognized by your peers, isn't that great?
Absolutely, yeah. And I was kind of amazed. It was this show that won the majority of those awards too, and one of them featured you, as we talked about what the Northwest Angle went through as that turmoil was going on up at the Angle last year. It's great to be here, and it's kind of award season because they announced the Emmy nominations. So Prairie Sportsman had 9 Emmy nominations, and then this happened, and then you just won another award too, right?
Yeah, yep. So I won a couple for writing articles and things with AGLOW, the AIC awards last night.
Right,
and
yep.
And one was about the Northwest Angle Guest Ice Road, and another one was I think the title was "Putting the Hurt on Stained Water Walleyes." And then I also won another award. A year or two ago, USCCA, United States Conceal and Carry Association, and Delta Defense, they put out an opportunity to write an article about a topic that had to do with what they deal with. And my goodness, if I didn't win first prize in that one. So that was a nice honor too. So 3 awards, and in what I do for tourism, being a subject matter expert when it comes to the outdoors and fishing and different things like that, it's very, very helpful because of our destination and because our destination is an outdoors destination. So to get a little recognition for the hard work once in a while, it's not a bad gig. The other thing I learned though, Bret, if you're going to win an award, you got to submit your entries. Mm-hmm. Before I've just been so busy all the time, and I didn't submit entries. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to start submitting some of my articles. I get nice compliments on them, and it is nice. I'm glad I did it because now all of a sudden, you get a couple of awards coming in, and now just like you, Bret, it's not Joe Henry, it's award-winning Joe Henry. Right?
That's right. I'm sorry. Rewind the tape.
Yeah.
With us today is award-winning journalist Joe Henry here from Lake of the Woods.
Yeah, we were laughing about it, but again, kidding aside, it's just nice recognition of, and the people that are judging are your peers.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Well, and they went to across the nation, so it was nobody from AGLOW that judged. It was industry experts around the country.
Right. That way, there's no bias.
Right.
Yep.
Why don't you explain why you think AGLOW is important, Joe?
Well, I mean, what AGLOW is, the Association of Great Lakes Outdoor Writers, it's bringing together destinations, it's bringing together outdoor media, and it's bringing together different companies that are in the outdoor space. And, synergy, 1 + 1 = 10. When you bring those different groups together, if you are like-minded and you are looking to grow, whatever that is you might want to be growing or get better at what you want to do, there's just so many opportunities. Talented people. Heck, some people might look at my tourism colleagues as competition, and in some ways they could be, but I'd rather look at them as colleagues or partners in success. The kind of conversations that we have, the kind of information we share, best practices, it could be a number of things. Working with outdoor media. I bring a lot of outdoor media up to Lake of the Woods, and they don't come if you don't have a relationship. It's because of the relationships, and they'll give you a phone call on the side, and you make it possible for them to come up and experience Lake of the Woods and ultimately put media out. And then, of course, the companies, the outdoor companies. I mean, everything we do in the outdoors, we need equipment. And it's a great opportunity for them, for us, to meld, because we all need equipment. They need destinations. They need people to put the messaging out. So you can see where that all works together. So this is an organization that brings everybody together. It's education, it's networking, it's relationship building, that sort of thing. We're bidding on the we've hosted the AGLOW annual conference like we're sitting at today in Gaylord, Michigan. Lake of the Woods has hosted it twice in 2008 and also in 2017. And we're bidding to get it again against a couple of other destinations, and we're looking to try to get it in 2023. But again, there's competition for it, and the reason there's competition is because it's valuable.
Did you get to shoot some of those air guns?
I did. I shot an air gun. I'll tell you what, those air guns, number one, they're so powerful. They're taking, they're in some states, I don't think it's Minnesota, but I know it's not Minnesota, but in other states, you're allowed to use those for deer hunting. They're taking down deer. We saw a video last night where they're taking down cows. Yeah. I mean, the cows just literally tipped over. Yeah. And I'll tell you the other thing, too. When you're shooting these things, you can shoot a number of pellets without having to recharge that air canister, which is kind of neat. Very light gun. No recoil, no kick. And you want to talk about accurate. Oh, my goodness. I'm not much of a shooter. I don't shoot a lot. And at 50 yards, I was hitting a golf ball very consistently. It really a neat tool. And the other thing they talked about too is that they use those air guns for when they have to control deer herds in a metro area because of the noise. Quiet. And they also need to be effective because they can have injured deer running through a metro area, obviously, right? You need to put them down and be ethical about it, like we all are as hunters. And just really not a lot of neat advantages to it. But where else would I have had a chance to shoot an air gun?
Yeah, I've been hearing about those air guns more and more lately, and I think one instance was during the Olympics. There must have been some shooting where people were shooting air guns, and there was this viral photo that went around the internet of this woman, I think from the U.S. team, and she was shooting this handgun, and she was just kind of relaxed. Her other hand was in her pocket. I mean, she literally looked like it was a Sunday afternoon of plinking, out behind the barn. And she was, this was Olympic shooting, Olympic contest. But because there's no recoil and they're so accurate, you can have a more relaxed stance like that.
You know what? You can. Yesterday I was looking through that scope, relaxing my breath, knowing there's going to be no recoil, and I'm not afraid of recoil. I'm a big guy, but at the same time, it's coming. Mm-hmm. So how does that affect you and how you squeeze and flinch. And you try to squeeze that trigger gently between breaths, and it does change the way you shoot, and it was definitely to my advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what else has stood out for you here? I know, did you come across the bridge?
Yeah, I did. Mackinac Bridge, yep.
That's wild. Like, we had no idea. And I remember when we were mapping this trip out to drive out here, because we had a 12-hour drive to get out here, probably similar to what you had. And we were looking at the map, and we're like, that's a pretty big span coming down from the UP down to Mackinac City. And is that a bridge? Are we getting on a ferry? Like, what's going on there? And then we pull up, and we wanted to film it. So we pulled off. There's a little scenic overlook right before that bridge, and we looked at it. We're like, oh, my gosh. Me and Dan are like, holy smokes, that's a bridge. So as we're pulling up to it, there's a sign that says, and it's windy. Like, it's blowing. The seas were angry that day. And there's a sign that says tune into 1460 or whatever it is AM for information. So we turn on the radio. It's like, danger, high winds. If you're pulling a trailer or a semi, we will escort you across the bridge. And I'm like, Dan, what are we getting ourselves into right now? And it's 5 miles long. That's what you said. It's a 5-mile bridge. So it was a wild experience going across that thing.
Yeah, and you're so high up too, aren't you?
Yeah, very high. And when you get onto the graded part of the bridge, the noise, and then between the wind and my little car, those grates were grabbing, the wheels were grabbing, and my car was like, and there's not a real big divider between the oncoming traffic, and it was an experience for sure. It was cool.
Yeah, when we drove here, it was calm. Early in the week, and I'll tell you what, when I was driving on the grate with my pickup truck, it would push your vehicle sideways too.
Oh, sure.
Even with no wind, it was just different, right? So I'd drive in that, but then I'd get over to the tarred lane. It was just a little bit more secure. But it's. I'll tell you what, one of the cool things is no matter where you go in the United States, people love where they live, and this. AGLOW goes to outdoor destinations for obvious reasons, and it's really interesting to see not only how other people do things, but what it's like over there in that area, how they hunt, how they fish, what species, how the CVB runs their business over here. It's just interesting. You're always learning, right? And no different than going on an AGLOW trip. You asked me about different products or different things that kind of stood out, and really it's a lot of it for me is this trip anyway. It's the relationships. It's meeting new people. When I introduced you to Dustin, and Dustin does this competitive shooting where they put on 100-pound sacks and they're jumping over walls and have to do something in a timed manner and then stop and shoot and be accurate about it. And there's so many interesting people, and again, you're learning, and the learning is growing. And what do they say about coasting? A person doesn't coast down uphill. You coast downhill, right? So either you're learning or you're dying. Either you're growing or you're dying, and that's what a conference like this is all about.
Well, I had a long talk with Dustin last night. Dustin Sanchez is who we're talking about. He's going to be coming on the show here at some point in the near future.
Oh, cool.
And he is going to have some wicked stories because he lives in Minneapolis.
Oh, yeah.
And he lives in uptown in Minneapolis. And he's been there through everything that's gone on in the last couple of years. And he shared some stories with us that are pretty wild.
I had a chance to talk to him, too. He's got the police chief of Minneapolis on a speed, or of Minneapolis or St. Paul on a speed dial, but
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. I'll tell you, he was dialed in, and when it came to protecting his turf, he was ready, and he did. And Even his neighbors came to him for protection. So very interesting guy, and of course he's with Avid, I believe.
Real Avid.
Real Avid, yes. And so he reps a line of tools used in the, I guess, shooting business, firearms business, right? And but they have a lot of products. So, but that's why he's here. But look at the sideline. Look what he does on the side for his fun. I told him, I said, running around carrying 100-pound sacks, that's nothing. I carry 200-pound sacks. Joking, of course, because can you imagine what kind of shape you have to be in?
Oh yeah,
to be doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's been a great experience. Thanks again for introducing me to AGLOW. We got a couple more days out here. By the time of this recording, we still have more of the conference yet to go. But I'm sure it's going to be great. Thanks for the time. And if people want to learn more about Lake of the Woods, Joe, what should they do?
Yeah, man, the shiners are running, fall bites on. You know what? Check out our website. It's lakeofthewoodsmn.com.
Sporting Journal Radio is a division of Macaba LLC. If you've got a question, comment, or story idea for us, send us an email. Go to sportingjournalradio.com. While you're there, you can learn how to advertise on the show and visit our store for hats, hoodies, coffee mugs, and more. Go to sportingjournalradio.com.